I love coming every year. This was my 9th. I missed 2, one during the transplant year and one I had a colon surgery the next year. I come every year, and it's reconnecting, it's the relationships.
Hello, my name is Niall McKay and welcome to Living with PSC, a podcast about the rare disease of primary sclerosing cholangitis. Now, PSC causes the bile ducts inside and outside the liver to become scarred, narrowed and eventually blocked, and leads to liver cirrhosis. In this podcast, we aim to dispel some of the myths about the disease. In this podcast, we will bring you a report from the Annual PSC Conference, which this year was held at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. Now, attendees will be used to the support they receive and the fun that they have at these conferences, but this year there was an added bonus. There is now real hope for PSC patients and their caregivers as a whole raft of new drugs and treatments begin trials. Indeed, some doctors here at the Mayo Clinic believe that in the next 5 to 10 years we will have some credible treatments for this disease, which until now could only be treated by a liver transplant. But first, let's chat with Ricky Safer, CEO and founder of PSC Partners Seeking a Cure.
I am Ricky Safer, CEO of PSC Partners, who just lost her voice at the end of the weekend.
You've been talking all weekend.
Yes, a little bit too much, probably.
It's been a great conference. Do you want to tell us some of the highlights for you?
The definite highlight for me is just to see everybody together, working together, laughing, crying, everything, and knowing that everybody who came, the newcomers, they came petrified and are leaving home, not going back home, not wanting to leave everybody. So I feel like it's life-changing for all of us, even all of us who come every year.
So one of the things that seemed marvellous about this year's conference was that there's sort of a new stream of hope in the air, isn't there? Because
even before the conference, we can see at HQ that there's so much going on. There's so much interest in PSC. There's more presentations, but more than that, there are many more academic centers and many more pharmaceuticals and biotechs that are coming to us and wanting to start clinical trials. So I knew that, but so I've been hopeful. But this is the first time I've ever heard medical professionals, and not one, but many say during their talks, this is such a hopeful time for PSC, for the community, because there's so much going on, so much interest, so much research going on. So it's not just what we're feeling, but the fact that the doctors are saying, they're actually saying we will have a therapy. We're going to get there, we're on the way. That's incredibly exciting.
Yeah, and certainly doctors aren't given to irrational exuberance, but
No, not at all. That's why, and especially the doctors at Mayo, they're very measured in their comments. But, I mean, you heard them yesterday. They were all just saying, we're making amazing progress.
They were talking about sort of between 5 and 10 years for treatment.
Yes, exactly. Which may sound like a lot to us. We'd like it tomorrow, but 16 years ago, no one ever said that. In fact, I had the opposite. Probably about 5 years into when I started PSC Partners Seeking a Cure, one of our members of the Scientific Medical Advisory Committee came up to me and said, you actually ought to think about maybe changing your name, because the Seeking a Cure part, he says, that's going to be decades. You ought to just call yourself PSC Partners. And I'm like, no, this is really important to us. So now this same person is saying, wow, we're getting close to a therapy.
Great. Well, it's been a wonderful conference, and thank you very much, Ricky.
You are welcome. Thank you for everything you've done for us. We love it. Thank you, Niall.
Dr. Keith Lindor is a gastroenterologist and internist at the Mayo Clinic. He is also one of the world's leading experts on PSC. Dr. Lindor presented a talk about the new drug treatments becoming available at the conference.
So I think one of the things I'll talk about is just this landscape, which I think has never been as exciting as it is. There are about 20 drugs now that are in the pipeline, either recently reported or in the pipeline. So it's really, I think, in a very exciting time. There are a lot of really promising agents. We have norurso, obeticholic acid, bezafibrate, the NGM maybe, the vancomycin, the Vitaflu, and all of these new drugs that we've had. I've never, in almost 40 years of working in this area, seen a time when there are so many drugs and so many companies who have an interest in this. It will help us accelerate the progress, and so that we'll be able to be not me, but someone in 5 years can talk about the great progress that's been made and the drugs that we now can choose that are helpful and effective for this condition. So thank you.
Espen Bunas is one of 3 Norwegians that travelled to the conference from a sister organisation in Norway. And the name of your organisation in Norway?
In English, that is Organization for Autoimmune Liver Diseases.
How was this conference?
Yeah, this was really hopeful because I think there was a lot of things in this conference like AI, artificial intelligence. They were talking about this. How you could diagnose PSC.
Did you have fun at the conference?
Oh yeah, it was really fun. It's great meeting all the people here. So that was really nice, and it's so many nice people here, and they're so engaged and positive, and it helps you don't feel that alone when you meet other people. That's also a big reason for why we started this group in Norway.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Espen.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Julianne Vasicek, who had a transplant in 2015, says that she would not miss the conference for anything.
I love coming every year. This was my 9th. I missed 2, one during the transplant year and one I had a colon surgery the next year. I come every year, and it's reconnecting, it's the relationships. I had a wonderful mentee this year that was doing plenty of singing during karaoke, so she was a sibling of a PSCer. So every year meeting the new people, and so every time I come, it's just like renewed energy, and besides the fact that none of us really sleep for 4 days. That's the reality of it, because it's so much fun. I have PSC, but PSC doesn't have me.
Steve Mayer is a newcomer to the conference.
Steve Mayer from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was diagnosed with PSC in October of 2018, so it's my first convention.
And how did you find the medical information? Was that useful?
Medical information was really useful. It's kind of a 2-phase approach for me, right? So there was a lot of the classes the very first day, just going over the basics of PSC was really helpful. I have ulcerative colitis as well. And so to understand that, for example, I have trouble sleeping and staying asleep. And this is the first time I ever heard that there's a possible connection between PSC and restless nights. So it was just beneficial knowing I wasn't crazy, right?
And have you had fun at the conference?
Oh, it's been a really great conference. I mean, one of the most intimidating parts about this whole thing is not knowing anyone else who's had the disease, right? And so when you walk in the first 5 minutes and meet 20 people who have what you have that you didn't know if you'd ever be able to meet, that was the most uplifting part of the conference. And, karaoke last night wasn't bad either,
Lovely. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Niall.
And finally, we talked to Rick and Carla, who've been coming to the conference for some time.
I'm Rick Seifert from Minnesota.
I'm Carla Schwartz. I am a caregiver to Rick, who has PSC for the last 15 years.
I just wondered what your experience of the conference this year is.
I've really enjoyed it. I come for the information, but I really come to see my friends that and get the fellowship of the only other PSCers I know are here. So I really enjoy that part.
Were you karaokeing last night?
I tried to stay in the background.
Carly, you were right up there on the forefront.
I love to dance, so I was supporting the singers, and it was fabulous. And it's a great outlet. And this conference provides so much connection, and it helps me feel that I'm not alone in this journey. And the love is so powerful, just being in the room with people who understand what day-to-day life brings for those of us living with PSC in our households.
Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for this week. For more information about PSC and for a list of people and topics we'll be covering in the near future, please go to www.pscpartners.org. That's www.pscpartners.org. PSC Partners is a non-profit organisation dedicated to providing education and support to primary sclerosing cholangitis patients. There is information and resources on the website. There is a conference once a year. There is a private Facebook group that you can also join. Also, please join our patient registry. This is an anonymous database that provides research support to the medical community who are researching this disease. Thank you very much for listening.